Financial discipline is not flashy, but it is foundational. This past year, nearly 5 miles of roadway were chipped, sealed, or resurfaced, including 25 blocks and 1 alley, with over 4,700 feet of curb replacement and 23 new sidewalk ramps installed. The Green Street elevation project was completed above the 500-year flood, and Stevenson Road reconstruction is underway. Additional roadway and utility projects are in design and construction phases across the city. Water main replacements are scheduled for Erickson Street, Illinois Avenue, and additional corridors are under design. In stormwater management, sewer separation projects funded in part through CDBG grants are underway or entering construction. And perhaps most significantly, bids have been received for a second wastewater treatment plant along the Fox River, an approximately $60 million investment in long-term environmental and system capacity, with construction expected to begin this spring. These projects are not always visible from a podium, but they are visible in cleaner water, safer streets, reduced flooding, and reliable utilities. We continue to invest intentionally in our parks. Improvements at Peck Park and Allen Park have made those spaces more welcoming and accessible. Last summer, we opened Bill's Barking Lot, our community dog park, made possible through fundraising and private support. We're moving forward with the acquisition of Dayton Ridge Golf Course through assistance from the Open Space Lands Acquisition and Development Grant. This positions Ottawa for a future sports complex and expanded recreational opportunities for residents of all ages. Of course, creating great spaces for people to gather is only one part of building a strong community. Of course, public safety remains a top priority. Our building and community development teams issued 77 residential building permits last year, representing more than $6.7 million in residential construction value, along with 16 commercial permits totaling just over $6 million in investment. In addition, nearly 100 fence permits, multiple pool and demolition permits, and over 140 short-term rental registrations reflect steady activity across our neighborhoods. Our ordinance and inspection teams conducted more than 3,000 on-site inspections, addressed over 400 nuisance notices, and worked through hundreds of right-of-way, subdivision, and infrastructure-related inspections. That work is often unseen, but it directly improves quality of life, neighborhood standards, and long-term property values. The Ottawa Fire Department responded to 4,380 calls last year, including 658 fire-related responses and 3,722 medical calls. That means, on average, our firefighters and paramedics were responding to emergencies more than a dozen times a day. They strengthened emergency medical services with acquisition of a new state-of-the-art ambulance and upgraded critical EMS equipment through the Stryker EMS Plus program. They secured state and federal grants to improve firefighter protective equipment, install bunker gear extractors and dryers to reduce carcinogen exposure. They expanded the Knoxbox rapid entry program and sustained adequate staffing through the SAFER grant programs. Behind these numbers are real people training relentlessly, maintaining equipment, modernizing facilities, and preparing for emergencies we hope never happen. The department's training division delivered advanced scenario-based exercises to ensure readiness across fire suppression, EMS, rescue, and hazard mitigation. Public education efforts expanded CPR training, first aid classes, and school outreach programs, because prevention is just as important as response. We also extend our sincere appreciation to firefighter Jason Ward, who retired in 2025 after years of dedicated service to our community. And alongside our firefighters, the Ottawa Police Department and Ottawa Central Dispatch continue to serve with professionalism and commitment. The police department is fully staffed with 40 sworn officers and 2 K-9 units, Muskie and Mini, bringing more than 4 centuries of combined policing experience to our streets. In 2025 alone, officers responded to 21,229 calls for service, a 10% increase over the prior year, and patrolled more than 284,000 miles throughout our city. The department successfully hired and trained new officers through fully reimbursed state grants and secured additional funding through the Illinois Attorney General's Office to support flock safety camera technology, including units placed in several of our parks to enhance public safety. Grant funding also allowed for upgraded communication equipment in dispatch, improving response coordination and officer safety. Community engagement remains central to their mission, from National Night Out to Cop on a Rooftop, the Law Enforcement Torch Run, and collaborative events with our elementary schools. The department helped raise nearly $5,000 for charitable causes, including Special Olympics. The Police Benevolent and Protective Association continues its independent support of back-to-school programs, Christmas initiatives, scholarships, and youth athletics throughout Ottawa. Ottawa Central Dispatch remains fully staffed with 17 telecommunicators and handled 9,809 emergency 911 calls, including text to 911 calls, along with more than 50,000 non-emergency calls last year. Their combined 244 years of dispatching experience ensures that when someone calls for help, a steady and capable voice answers. Together, they represent not just enforcement, but service, partnership, and a daily commitment to the safety of our community. Behind every statistic is a person answering a call, responding to a crisis, or working quietly to keep our community safe. Over the last nearly 24 months, healthcare has been one of the most important and at times emotionally conversations in our community. I want to begin by commending the hard work and dedication of the grassroots organization Citizens for Healthcare in Ottawa. In a time when words like honesty and transparency are used often and sometimes loosely, CHO worked tirelessly to ensure that questions were asked, voices were heard, and information was brought forward into the light. Regardless of where anyone stood on the specific issue, that civic engagement mattered. I recently received an update from Dawn Trumpeter, Regional CEO for the Western Region of OSF Healthcare, regarding the current state of OSF St. Elizabeth following the December relocation of ICU and inpatient OB services to the Peru campus. OSF shared that under its regional model, care in Ottawa continues with emergency services, rehabilitation, diagnostics, surgery, cardiology, oncology, and expanded intermediate and palliative care. The region has also added several specialty providers and expanded virtual and telehealth services to improve timely access for patients. There is one thing that I can say with certainty. Rural healthcare across Illinois and across America is changing. Consolidation, workforce, shortages, rising costs, and evolving reimbursement models are reshaping how care is delivered in smaller communities. But change does not mean surrender. It means we must be strategic. Ottawa does not need to be dependent on one single network. We need choice. Specialized medicine will continue to be centralized in certain areas. That is simply how modern health systems operate. But what strengthens a community is access to options. What strengthens families is the ability to decide where they feel most comfortable receiving care. Whether that is OSF, Morris Hospital, Northwestern, Carle Clinic, or other regional partners, our focus must be on expanding opportunity, welcoming providers, and ensuring competition and collaboration work in favor of our residents, not against them. Our responsibility as a city is not to dictate healthcare decisions, but to ensure that opportunities exist for high-quality providers to serve our community close to home. One thing is certain, the City of Ottawa will continue to talk with, collaborate with, and work alongside all healthcare organizations willing to invest in serving our residents. We will pursue every opportunity that strengthens access, expands services, and protects choice for our community. Healthcare is deeply personal, and our commitment to it must be steady, thoughtful, and focused on what ultimately matters, the well-being of the people who call Ottawa home. Finally, when we talk about Ottawa, we have to talk about life in Ottawa. From Sweet Stroll in February to the Festival of Lights Parade in November, our calendar is full. Marathons, markets, Pride Festival, concerts in the park, cruise night, debate days, the Kris Kringle Market, fireworks, and dozens more. These events are more than dates on a calendar. They bring families downtown. They support local businesses. They are reminders that community is something we build together. Over the past year, we have seen meaningful progress in construction, business development, and long-range planning. Pads temporarily relocated to the former YMCA while construction continues on their new facility, which remains on track to open later this year and will provide expanded services for individuals and families in need throughout the region. In the business community, momentum continues. Amazon's last mile distribution center opened in the industrial park. Heritage Harbor is constructing a new event venue. Pilkington Solar Farm was completed. New restaurants and small businesses have opened across the city. Downtown properties are changing hands. Upper story residential units are being renovated, and the Ottawa Center for the Arts expanded into 2 historic properties, bringing even more energy to our downtown. Internally at City Hall, we have fully implemented cloud permit software, allowing residents, contractors, and developers to apply for permits, submit plans, and track approval online. Launched a new city website, annexed additional homes for sewer service, created a new agriculture zoning district, and advanced final design work on the amphitheater and waterfront park infrastructure. We anticipate designation of a River's Edge recovery zone to support historic redevelopment and continue exploring tools like the state's new Star Bond District application and a business development district to responsibly balance growth with potential property tax relief.